Okay, hi, Ben, part of the UC Day team, here with Gary from Pure IP. We've just been chatting with Paul about who Pure IP are and what they do and why they do it, but I figured we'd drill into that a little bit more. Gary, I believe you were the founder of Pure IP, is that correct?
That's correct. Pure IP was a business I set up 13 years ago when voice over IP was a technology that was just emerging. The goal then was to basically build a business that was dedicated to voice being run over IP networks. And over the course of the last 13 years, we've now built a business that covers the globe from offices in 4 countries. Now our focus in the next 5 years is to build out what I call PRI, ISDN replacement services.
Okay.
So effectively getting to a situation where customers can get the services were previously on a T1 or a PRI or ISDN circuit being delivered over a SIP trunk. Mm-hmm. And that requires us both building a network that supports those services, as well as actually finding the vendors and going through the regulation to do that as well. Yeah. We've got that covered in about 30 countries at the moment, and our intention is to build that footprint out further.
So this is quite a regulatory heavy industry, isn't it, to
very
be
much
working
so.
in?
Yes, and each market's got a different set of regulations to conform with as well, and it's trying to unify that into a solution which actually works for the customers who are moving to a UC platform.
So I guess, 13 years ago, technology times, that was quite a different world we were operating in, and now here we are where we're looking at sort of, your T1s are starting to come end of life. There's a certain drop dead date for them, I believe, isn't there, for ordering?
There is, again, it depends on which market you're operating in. Mm. Each market is at a slightly different stage of development, but certainly there's been an acceleration in the last couple of years of corporates wishing to adopt the technology to give themselves a simplification in terms of their own network and actually bringing the data and the voice together. And we've been, I guess the technology and the systems we've developed over the last 13 years are actually make that a reasonably easy process for us. Yeah. And what's exciting for us is the fact that our customers are driving us to get into these new markets, find these new vendors.
So I mean, there's still a bit of a misconception, isn't there, with SIP, that because it's delivered over IP, that it's not as reliable as cable-based technology, and that if you're going to go down the route to SIP, you need to have your big carriers who are also your network carriers and your interconnects. How would you come back to that?
I would argue that actually we're in a better place than some of the bigger carriers. The bigger carriers have actually got legacy systems that they're actually trying to convert to IP. Okay. Whereas a company such as Pure IP that actually started when only as being an IP-based solution provider is actually can use the latest technology. We can actually reconfigure our networks to adjust more easily to volume.
So agility, really?
Yeah, absolutely. Agility is probably the key thing that we've got over the carriers. And many of those carriers have struggled to actually go through that transition. So our network has grown over the course of the last 13 years. It's configurable and it can take more capacity. And what's great is we're agile enough to actually address the customer needs as well, which is really what's driven the growth of our business and the direction of where we've gone.
So I think we'll wrap that up there. Thank you very much, and hopefully see you and see some of these folk at the event later on in the year.